In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12, the Bible reads, "Now we ask you, brothers and sisters, to acknowledge those who work hard among you, who care for you in the Lord, and who admonish you. Hold them in the highest regard, in love, because of their work. Live in peace with each other." I'm David, the son of Kim Ki-ryang, or Ryan, as we know him here in the U.S. I also serve as a minister for the One Faith Church, and as a minister and as Ryan's son, I have the privilege of putting together this time to honor my dad. During this unprecedented and uncertain time of pandemic, our family thought it would be best for everyone's safety to honor my dad while safeguarding the health of his loved ones. First off, I'd like to thank you on the behalf of me and my family for your love and support at this heartbreaking time. It's my prayer that this memorial will be as meaningful and possibly even more so than what we'd experience under typical circumstances. As we watch the images of my dad's heroic life, we'll also hear from his brother-in-law and younger sister, Bob and Shirley Kiok Lee, his nephew Brian, and my wonderful sisters Margie and Susan, and his 5 grandchildren. By faith, most of us trust God to mercifully and graciously care for my dad. But during these times, we can also actually help people live in eternity. As we remember my dad, this is a chance to have him live in our hearts through his legacy of unassuming love, integrity, and inspiring hard work. This is our chance to give him the honor and respect that he has always truly deserved.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine, heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood.
Opa, here is my message for you. Hope you can hear me. When I was about 7 years old, I remembered mother telling me how we would be moving on a big ship from Seoul to Busan, where our family would be safe, all because of you, Oppa. At the time, I didn't really understand what she meant. I was just so proud to have such an influential and respected neighbor serviceman as my older brother. Without your care and concern, our family would have never been able to comfortably and safely travel to Busan during the war. As I grew older, I could see and understand just how compassionate you have always been, and have you always put our family's needs first. I will never forget my first day of formal schooling when you, my older brother, took my hand and led me to the classroom. I can still remember how fine you handsome and looked in your uniform as a Navy lieutenant, and the respect you were shown by all the school. I was so proud and felt so safe by having you there with me.
3 coins in the fountain, each one seeking happiness, thrown by 3 hopeful lovers. Which one will the fountain bless? 3 hearts.
I remember saying at our grandfather's funeral, describing each one of our uncles, and that he was the most intelligent of all, and that he was the one who paved the way for all of us to call U.S. our home now. He entered the prestigious Hanyang Engineering University at an earliest age as a child prodigy, and he came to this country during the time of Korean War when he was an officer in the military on a special scholarship which was extremely special at the time. I'll say that he may not have been the most articulate and most expressive, but I'll say that he was the most honest and true man.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for
It was you, Oppa, who was our family's compassion leader and the true pioneer who opened up the way for us to be here. Father always reminded the family of your compassion and the leadership at every gathering. With your intelligence and courage as a naval officer, you paved the way for our family to come to the U.S. Because of you, Oppa, we were able to build our future and families in this land of opportunity. I was able to continue my dream of furthering my education in America, all because of you. Again, you showed me compassion as my older brother. When I had my first summer break from studying at USC, you welcomed me into your home and took the time and effort to find a part-time job at your company. I will never forget the first paycheck I earned from that job, how happy I was holding $360 check that I could use for part of my tuition. You helped build confidence in myself to work and make a living in this country.
My memory of the uncle, I call him my third uncle, is somewhat more special because I spent a few months in the hacienda house immediately after our family's arrival in the U.S., December 6, 1969 to be exact. And I recall one evening, he drew me up close and taught me how to solve mathematical solutions to square roots, typical engineering stuff. He was delighted that I could keep along with the steps and that he passed on that formula to me. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for him, being a trailblazer of our Kim family, for all of us to prosper in this new land.
This is Margie, Kim Young-mi. I would always sign birthday cards, Father's Day cards as Kim Young-mi in Korean. It was the only Korean I knew how to write, and it always made my dad smile. Susan, David, and I have so many loving and funny stories of our dad. Here are a few stories from me. When I was in high school, I joined a club that held an annual camping trip to Baja. I really wanted to go my first year, and so my dad volunteered to drive and be a chaperone. Imagine my parents driving to Baja with a bunch of high school students. That was Daddy. He didn't want me to miss out. When I was an undergrad at UCLA, my dad would drop by my dorm to drop off things for me or just check in after a long day at work, and then he had a super long commute back to Hacienda Heights. Again, that's my dad. When his granddaughter, Summer, my daughter, was playing basketball in 5th grade, he drove all the way to the west side from Hacienda Heights to watch her play a game. I remember he was so surprised every time she made a basket. He was really always there for me. As many of you know, my dad loved to dance. He just loved to bust a move on the dance floor, and I'm so happy that I'm like him. I love to dance too. Dancing made him smile and laugh. It makes me feel the same way. It was so much fun to watch him dance, and just as fun to dance with him. That's how I know I'm my dad's daughter, his young me. I will miss watching him dance, and I will miss you, Daddy.
When I think of Papa, I think about how he danced and how it made my mom laugh and how my mom would imitate it and I would only get to see it at weddings. But it was always really funny. I will miss him a lot, and I was sad I didn't get to see him when I came back. My mom said that he remembered and he knew that I was coming home, and that made him happy. So I'd like to think that he knows. And then I also remember listening to The Sound of Music on vinyl, and he had this sound system that was like definitely from the 70s, but he would always play Sound of Music on it, and I really liked that musical.
A memory about Papa that stands out to me is him always singing Edelweiss from The Sound of Music on the karaoke machine he had at the house. Even though there were probably thousands of songs to choose from, without any hesitation, he would always choose to sing Edelweiss. I will always remember falling asleep on the couch to him singing it on repeat.
Since my medical school is located in Pomona, I've been fortunate enough to see Papa more often in the past year. On several occasions, we have eaten at the same Chinese restaurant, and I appreciated how Papa would always be interested in what was happening in my life. He would always ask about medical school and ask about the sports I was playing, while always making a comment about my height. I will cherish the interactions that we had at these dinners, and will always remember how happy he was eating the same fish dish that he would order every single time we went there.
My name is Susan. It's a name our dad chose because Susan Hayward was his favorite actress in the 1960s. I'm here to share my memories of our dad, which are like little snippets of scenes, such as him singing Blessed Assurance unabashedly and loudly on a Sunday afternoon, or waiting for him to come home from work so we could have family dinners together while watching Walter Cronkite give the world news. Shopping for a pair of back-to-school shoes and seeing his shocked expression at the cost of those shoes, but buying them anyways for me. Watching him tinkering in the garage with all his electronic contraptions in hopes of creating the next new invention. And being surprised to see my dad arrive at the hospital by himself because he was so excited and happy to hold his first grandson. There are so many more precious memories I could share with you. We knew you loved us with all your heart, and we knew you worked hard for our family to give us the opportunities to become the adults we are today. I will miss your welcoming smile whenever I came home, and I will miss giving you a hug or a kiss and saying the words I love you when I left.
Much of what I learned about Korea and Korean culture came from Papa's stories. He made me feel more connected and want to learn more, and he inspired me to feel proud of being Korean. Papa's pride was encouraging, and I loved to hear about the things he loved. My first introduction really to the concept of Korean written language came from Papa talking about King Sejong the Great and how he created Hangul. I liked to hear him talk about what he loved about it. He seemed very, very proud of the fact that there was an alphabet. Because Papa always seemed so excited about the story, it felt exciting to me too.
I appreciated Papa being very generous and kind because he would bring our whole family together on New Year's for Sepe. His giving nature really shone because when we finished bowing, he would give us a big smile and hug, and he always loved to give us money. I remember him being so nice when he would try to connect with and understand me through his questions and his stories about war and his father and his childhood. His genuine interest and curiosity about me was very heartwarming.
In 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 3, the Bible reads, "We remember before our God and Father your work, produced by faith, your labor prompted by love, and your endurance inspired by hope in our Lord Jesus Christ." It's really important for me to remember my dad. The Bible calls me to remember my dad's work, labor, and endurance that came from his faith, hope, and love. And I chose this passage because it's about how many of us remember my dad. He taught me a lot of things. How to ride a bike, how to shave, how to drive. We unsuccessfully attempted trying to play a few sports together, but I'm completely uncoordinated and hard to teach. And so instead, he learned how to take me to the comic book store whenever it was a special occasion. But those are not the moments that resonate with me from all those years. The memories I constantly go back to are when my dad would come to my bedside, tell me he loved me, he was proud of me, and then he would say a prayer. It did not happen every day, but it happened enough to be one of my strongest memories of my childhood. From young adulthood to now, what has grown deeper in my heart is how much my dad gave better than he got. In my experience working with people, I've witnessed how so many pass on the anger, disrespect, fear, or hurt that they've experienced. But my dad gave better than he got. I don't remember him ever putting me down. He never even spanked me, even when I was horrible. He gave me what I want to pass on to my family and as many other people as I can. I want to pass on opportunity over anger, encouragement over disrespect, fun over fear, hope over hurt. He's always been an upward call in my work ethic and my positive attitude. My dad gave me and my sisters the faith, love, the confidence, and courage to try to be of benefit to this world. My dad is truly part of the eternity in my heart and in the hearts of those around me and those he loved.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit those raindrops.
Opa, after father passed away, I know how that deeply affected you emotionally. But through those times, we were able to become closer. When we took our first trip together with our younger brothers to Tahoe, we had so much fun laughing together and talking about old times. And since that time, our Tahoe group could continue making some of the best memories of our life during our trips to China, Bali, Korea, Eastern Europe, and the Pacific Islands. I'm so grateful for the memories of you that I will always cherish.
Uncle Kiryang, I miss you call me Bobby and your laughter too, Uncle. And I never forget when we were in Bali, when during the water rafting, you are so concerned for all of us to wear life vests before go to the river. And I told you that you don't have to worry because you are a naval officer. Then you told me, Bobby, I don't know how to swim. There are all of us laughing and cracking up. And we all never forget that. Your laughter, your cheerful in our memory. Uncle, I will miss you, Uncle.
This past week, I started looking through every old photo album I could get my hands on. In the photos, I saw our dad as a playful young boy with his brothers, a serious naval officer, an excited young man boarding a plane to live the American dream, a happy man with his beautiful new bride, a proud father, a loving grandfather, and a man who traveled around the world with our patient mom and with the notorious Tahoe group. Through these photos, I realized our dad had a rich life with some sorrows, but also abundant joys. I will miss him dearly, but I feel assured that he has just gone on to his last travel destination, to a heavenly place where he can rest in peace or dance to his own beat for eternity. I love you, Daddy, and I miss you.
Opa, I didn't know that my last conversation with you last Father's Day was going to be the last time I would be able to hear your warm voice and joyful laughter. I miss you and wish I could have told you everything that has been in my heart. I want to dedicate a prayer to you before I let you go. From distant corners, we join our hands and hearts, young and old, in gratitude. May the love that joined us sustain us through hardship and joy. Bless our family now and forever. 오빠의 영혼이 하나님과 늘 평강하시기를 빕니다. 오빠 사랑해요. Amen.